Hello everybody! Have you ever wondered where the Easter Bunny really comes from, or why we hide eggs in the spring? It might seem like just a fun holiday tradition, but the roots of this story go deep, all the way back to ancient Anglo-Saxon mythology. Today, I want to share with you a forgotten myth, one filled with nature, mystery, and quiet magic. It's the story of a goddess named Eostre and a very special hare. Long before Easter was a Christian holiday, the people of early England celebrated the coming of spring with a festival in honor of Eostre. She was the goddess of dawn, of light returning after a long winter, bringing new life, fresh growth, and the warmth of the sun. She's not a widely known figure, but her influence still echoes today. In fact, the very name Easter comes from her. The ancient monk Bede mentions Eostre only briefly in his writings, but sometimes a whisper is enough to keep a story alive. And this one, it's worth remembering. Now, to really feel the story, you've got to imagine what spring meant back then. Winter wasn't just cold. It was hard, food ran low, the days were short, and the earth felt dead. So when spring finally came, it wasn't just a season, it was a rebirth. Life returned to the land, and with it, hope. People didn't just watch the seasons change, they felt it in their bones. And they honored it with songs, stories, and rituals. Eostre wasn't some distant goddess on a throne, she was there in the first crocus pushing through the snow. In the longer daylight, in the animals returning to the fields, she was presence, she was promise. And that's where our story begins. One version of the old myth tells of a bird, wounded, lost in the last cold days of winter. It couldn't fly, and it wouldn't survive. Eostre, seeing this, felt compassion. She held the bird gently and transformed it into a hare, an animal better suited to the land, one that could run, hide, and thrive. But she left the hare with one magical gift, the ability to lay eggs, just like the bird it once was. Now, think about that for a second. A bird, full of sky and freedom, turned into a creature of the earth, but not as punishment, as protection. That transformation is powerful. It's not just about changing shape. It's about survival, renewal, and adapting to a new life while honoring where you came from. The hare, grateful for Eostre's mercy, began laying bright, beautiful eggs to offer back to the world. And not just anywhere, these eggs were hidden in the grass, like tiny treasures celebrating spring's arrival. Now, even without this myth, eggs have always symbolized life. They're full of mystery, smooth and quiet on the outside, and yet they hold the spark of something living. That's why eggs show up in spring festivals all over the world, even long before Easter. But in this story, the eggs aren't just symbols. They're gifts, little bursts of color in a world waking up again. And the hare, it became a messenger of the season, a creature of the moon, the earth, and the magic in between. Over time, as Christianity spread across Europe, a lot of older traditions were blended into new ones. The story of Christ's resurrection brought new meaning to spring, and it lined up closely with the time people were already celebrating Eostre. And so, the symbols merged. The hare became the Easter bunny. The eggs became Easter eggs. And slowly, what began as a quiet tale of a bird and a goddess became part of the holiday millions celebrate today. In Germany, children once believed in the Osterhase, a hare who laid eggs in the garden. That tradition traveled across oceans, growing and changing, but still carrying echoes of its origin. Even now, in the colors, the candy, and the egg hunts, a deeper rhythm is still there, one tied to the earth, to rebirth, and to stories much older than we realize. You know, the story of Eostre and the hare isn't just a curiosity from the past, it's a reminder of how deeply we're connected to nature, to change, to compassion. Eostre didn't just rescue a bird, she helped it become something new, and that hare in turn gave beauty back to the world. There's something timeless in that kind of cycle. Even today, we feel that energy when winter finally breaks, when the air gets warmer, when flowers bloom. Maybe we don't call it magic, but deep down, we know it is. So the next time you see a chocolate bunny or paint an egg, remember, This all started with a goddess, a broken bird, and the quiet miracle of spring returning once more. Thanks for listening. I hope this story brings a little extra meaning to the season and maybe helps you see some wonder hiding in plain sight. If you enjoyed this, feel free to subscribe, leave a comment, or share your favorite spring tradition. Until next time, stay curious and take care. Yours truly, Mythos, the historian.